There's no doubt 2012 is going to be a happier year in real estate than 2011 was. Last year was a period in which many markets declined, but mostly in the capital cities. Some of our regional markets thrived last year, showing double-digit growth in median prices, but there were more down markets than growth markets. That will be different this year. There is an alignment of positive indicators that suggests 2012 will have more growth markets than we have seen for a while. We have now had 9 consecutive months which have delivered a rise in the number of new home loans. We've had 4 consecutive quarters in which affordability has improved. We've had 2 interest rate cuts from the Reserve Bank, only partly diluted by the more recent minor rises from some lenders. First home buyers are now more active than at any time since 2009, remembering that 2009 was a stellar year for first home buyers. Sales of residential land have been rising for 3 consecutive months. Investors are active again in significant numbers, and I'm feeling it personally with the rising traffic to the hotspotting.com.au website. This is happening at a time of strong economic growth across Australia. Ignore what the media is telling you about the crisis in Europe and the struggles of some of our manufacturers. Newspapers sell negativity and fail to provide an honest or balanced view of our economy and our property markets. Job advertisements are rising and our unemployment rate is falling. According to the official figures, even our manufacturing sector is expanding overall, contrary to the image created by media with its focus on businesses that are contracting. The Reserve Bank is satisfied that inflation is under control and that our economy will be growing at a comfortable rate of 3 or 3.5% a year. The RBA predicts at least 10% growth in business investment this year and next year. The resources sector provides the base for Australia's growth, although there is a tendency to overlook other sectors that are doing very well as well, including agriculture. The world order is changing, with previous powers such as Europe and the United States fading somewhat, and new growth economies emerging. These growth economies include India, China, South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand and Vietnam. All Asian economies pretty much on Australia's doorstep. These nations need resources to fuel their growth, and primarily they're coming to Australia to get them. This is not a short-term process. The growth in our resources sector has a horizon stretching many decades into the future. Many of the mega iron ore, gas and coal projects happening in Queensland and Western Australia are proceeding with most of their production already sold for the next 10 or 15 years. Australia's resources sector is not facing a boom, but a revolution. The most important thing to realise about this resources revolution is that it is only just beginning. There are projects costing $500 billion in the pipeline, but only 20% have started construction. The biggest of these projects are just moving now into their construction phases after many years of planning, feasibility research and approval processes. Huge amounts of wealth will soon be flowing through the Australian economy, and large chunks of it will be directed into property investment. 2012 is the year when the 2 worst capital city markets, Perth and Brisbane, will recover and indeed will start to lead the nation. Adelaide and Sydney will be strong. Canberra will be solid and Darwin will begin its comeback after a couple of down years. Hobart, however, will be weak as the capital of the worst state economy in the nation, while Melbourne will struggle with its oversupply problems. But it's in the regions where much of the action will take place. Key regional centres will thrive from the resources activity and from rising government spending on infrastructure. Smart property investors will be targeting growth regional centres for the triple benefits they provide: cheaper entry prices, higher income yields and superior prospects for capital growth. If you target the right regional areas, this can represent real estate's ultimate win-win-win situation.